gonna let the sun shine in today. I'm trying to make this darkness go away. I'll paint with colors and I'll sing until my lungs give out. I'm gonna let the sun shine in today. And I will leave my windows open so that I can hear the sound of people talking and the wind blowing in the trees. Oh, I will open up my eyes so I can see the light. Oh, and I'll try to spread my wings so I can fly. Oh, and the darkness starts to fade.
So if there's one word that I could use to, I guess, encapsulate 2023, it would be chaos. And I don't know, I've been going over a whole bunch of videos that I've made over the last year, and I honestly don't even remember what I was trying to do with the year. I think, like, I don't know, I remember creating a whole bunch of goals and everything, and I remember filming a video with Luke in New Zealand about 2023, but none of it happened. I mean, I don't think any of it happened. Like, I think I just ended up trying to survive, and that's okay. I think I've come to terms with it, and that is what was needed, and that was what I think it was just what I needed for the year. I think the year threw a lot at me that I wasn't expecting, and I was so busy with travel, and like, we traveled so much this year. I think we calculated that we were gone for a week of most months traveling, which is so cool, and it meant we got to see so much of the world, and I've been able to achieve so much this year that I hadn't otherwise been able to achieve, and I've met so many cool people. And like, I was actually just clearing out my phone in like preparation for next year and going through and clearing out all the photos and the videos, and it was just blowing my mind, the stuff that we got to do. Like, we went to Princeton. I presented at Princeton this year, and we traveled around the US, and we went to Jerusalem, and we went to Hay-on-Wye and went to a book festival. We went to the UK twice. We've met so many cool people this year, and we've traveled to so many countries, and I don't know, I guess I'm shocked going through those photos and seeing, like, wow, this is one of the most exciting years that I've ever had. And I know that when I was dying to leave New Zealand and we were planning this trip to move to Germany, one of the things that I was looking for was excitement, because I felt like my life in New Zealand was so bland, or like restless. I think restless is probably a better word. Bland isn't right. We had like a dog and guinea pigs, and we tried to do as much as we could, but I just felt so restless. And I think it was so cool going through this year and traveling so much. I mean, we started the year in New Zealand. I keep forgetting that we were in New Zealand this year, and to think how far we've come and how much we've traveled and how much we've seen is so cool. But at the same time, this is one of the worst years that I've had in a really long time, and my mental health was really terrible this year. I was all over the place a lot of the time, which I know wasn't helped by the fact that we were so unsettled. Like, we didn't get into the whole year, we never got into a good working routine, and we never got into like a good momentum for anything, because we were always here for 2 weeks or there for 2 weeks, or working from home, or working in the office, or working on holiday. And I think Luke was saying the other day that he's felt like for most of this year he's either been working hard because he knows he's got a week off coming up soon, or catching up from work that he's missed because he took a week off. And I think that really characterized how I was feeling this year, that I honestly just felt like the whole time I was playing catch up or trying to get on top of things, in order to take time off, and that's definitely played into the feeling of chaos a lot, and feeling like I was getting, I don't want to say burnt out, because I didn't feel burnt out, I just felt tired. And I felt like I kept trying to find new routines that would work for me, because we'd be, I don't know, so many times we'd be up till like midnight or 1 o'clock, and then waking up at 9 a.m, 10 a.m, which for me isn't good, because I want to wake up at, like, ideally I want to wake up at 7 a.m. and have a good morning, and then go to work and start my work day, be finished at like 5 or 6, and have the afternoon. And I don't think that happened for a consecutive week this whole year. I was definitely able to do it in like bits and places, but it just, yeah. It was a really exciting year, but it was just complete and utter chaos. And so I think that's kind of reflected into what I want for this next year. And one of the things that I've kind of, I don't know, come up with words that I want to characterize this next year. One of them not being chaos. I'm actually, let's turn on this screen recording and we can go through this together. So basically what I've done this year is I'm going for a digital planner, and I'm hoping that this will, I don't know, keep me more on track this year. I've kind of planned out roughly how I want this year to look, rather than just taking it month by month. And I'm hoping that having a digital planner, which is on my tablet, which I can take with me anywhere, is going to be a bit more versatile than having it on a written planner. I was trying so hard to stick with the written planner thing, and I might go back to it, I don't know, but I'm going to try this digital planner thing and see how it works for me, because I take it with me anyway when we're traveling, so I could do readings on it, and I take it with me to the office when I'm doing readings. And so rather than taking this and a digital journal, hopefully I can stay on track with stuff. And so I bought this on Etsy. I can put the link in the description box if you're interested. I actually coloured out the front page. I mean, I've left the That Girl planner thing there, but I had a whole bunch of images, and it wasn't bringing me joy, so I crossed out the images, deleted them, and yeah, I don't know. The thing with this planner that I really liked is that it's kind of like a bullet journal, which is what I was wanting, because I find with the chaos of this year, I wasn't spending time reflecting, and I wasn't spending time planning for the coming month, or I don't know, I've realized I'm somebody who does really well with a plan and with control. And so one of the things that I wanted to bring into this next year was control. And one of the ways that I found out doing that is with a bullet journal like this, which comes with places where you can reflect and make plans, see overviews of things, flick through things. And then the second thing that I'll show you, which is budgeting, which is a new thing I'm bringing in this year to hopefully try and bring some control back to, and balance, not just control, because I know that control can have some bad connotations, but balance as well. So yeah, this is an overview of what you can get in this journal, and this is one of the things that I was really looking for, is that it's not just got like your day-to-day planner, but it's got like a monthly planner, a yearly overview, a goal section, monthly reflection. It does have a monthly budget in here, but I'm using an Excel sheet, which I'll show you. But it does have a budget in here if this is what you're wanting to do. But then it's also got a whole bunch of different stuff like meal planners and cleaning checklist, grocery list, contact list, goals, brain dump, which I think will be really helpful. It's got a whole bunch of different note pages for lined, grid, dotted, and blank. And it's got like a routine planner, which I'm definitely going to be using. And of course the whole finance section, which I'm not going to be using, but it's also got like all of these things on the side, so you can switch easily between lifestyle, productivity, wellness and finance, and then very easily between the months. Oops, there you go. Went to the different thing. And then up here, which I just clicked on, it's got the home page, which brings you back to this, which is just brilliant. So what I have done is I've gone through and I'm using the year at a glance for big things. So like I've put in birthdays with a cake. I don't know why I made the cake green. I'm gonna be honest. I picked a color that I liked and then I did it, and then I realized it was really stupid. I should have made it like brown or I don't know, white or something. Anyway, we've gone with it now. And we have green cake for birthdays. I've also put in like wedding anniversaries, like owls down here, Christmas, and any other big things I'm gonna put in there. This is just like a basic start for what I've done so far. And then in the yearly overview down here, which is more of like a written section, this is year at a glance, this is yearly overview, I put travel stuff because I know that travel's coming up, and one of the things that I'm doing with my budget this year is I'm actually making a travel budget so that I'm not just, I don't know, I was finding one of the chaos this year was feeling like we're running out of money all the time, because we kind of just had one big savings account, and every time we traveled or each time we needed groceries or anything, like everything came out of the savings account, and it felt really stressful. And so I'm actually setting aside a savings account for travel so that I can know what's happening and save for it. And so I've started putting in stuff that's confirmed, like we're going to Olivia Rodrigo concert in Frankfurt in June, and like I know that I've got a conference in July on the 1st to the 5th, and I've got a friend coming over in August, and Luke's dad is coming over in September. And then it's stuff like we want to travel to Boston in October, hopefully, and so I put that in there so I can know what we're planning towards. And Luke's sister and brother-in-law might be coming over in April or May, so I put that in there so it's something that I'm aware of. I haven't filled it out completely, but this, like in January, I really should put that in a few days I'm going to Brussels. So I should have put that in there, but I haven't. But this is kind of going to be the travel overview. Obviously it's not where I'm planning each trip, but it's just so that I can see what's happening and not feel like I'm in the lurch with anything. And then the next thing that I have is my yearly goals, which is kind of the main thing for this year. I kind of have two main words that I want to characterize this next year besides control, because I really don't want control to be the name of my year. But balance. I feel like balance is a nicer way to characterize things, and obviously there's action steps, but it was more me just trying to figure out what balance meant for me. And one of the things that I want for next year is like a good solid morning routine and work routine, and whether that means going to the office 5 days a week so that I can have a work-life balance, because that's one thing I felt like I didn't have in 2023, then maybe that's what I need to do. But I need to decide what that looks like, and having a maintainable morning routine so that I don't feel like I'm just like getting up and rushing out the door, or getting up and going straight to my computer, because I just felt like I didn't have time to get into the day. And I know that if there's something that's really important to me, like one of the things I want to do this year is read more non-fiction books. That's something that I need brain space for, and so I want to do that first thing in the morning, because if I try to do it in the evening after a full work day, it's not going to happen. And so if I want to do that, I want to do that in the morning. And like language learning, I want to spend more time actually dedicating it to language learning. And I was looking at doing a course in the first half of the year, because we're not traveling for the first, like, until June. I think we're not going anywhere, and I was planning on doing an in-person or online language course, but Luke is doing a course for work, and we're kind of putting our money into that. And so there's so many free resources online, like Duolingo for example, and so many different things available, that I want to make use of that and see if I can actually put in like 15, 20, 30 minutes a day, if that can help improve. Because I'm finding with my German, for example, the main thing is having the words. I feel like my grammar is not terrible, and I feel like I'm operating day to day in German now, but my vocabulary is quite limited. And so rather than sitting a course, which I can do maybe later, but for right now I can't, then maybe I spend that time, I don't know, like going on Quizlet and learning words that I can then use in the day-to-day. And so it's stuff like that I need to figure out what I want in my morning routine that I can stick to, so that I can then go to work, fully concentrate on work, come home and have the evening, and whether that's going to the gym or whatever, like I don't know what that looks like yet, but if I can have balance through a controlled week, then I think I will get to the weekend and not feel like I'm constantly behind, or that I haven't completed my hours for work that week and so I have to work on the weekend and stuff like that. So balance is a really big thing that I want to focus on this year. And then the other big thing, which is kind of strange, is silence. And I haven't written down what this means for me yet, because it was kind of, it's something that I've been trying to mull over, but I think one of the reasons this year felt so chaotic was because I was just go, 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 and I felt like I had to be go, go, go because we had such limited time between trips. And I was either writing a conference paper or writing the next chapter or complete some work hours before a meeting, and this whole year has just felt very pressured and go, that I had to amp myself up to maintain that level of work. And so if I stopped, I felt like I couldn't do anything. I was just stuck. And so I had to continuously have this very amped up, very productive mindset. And what that meant was having no silence, because I mean, I don't know, I started therapy and I started taking medication, and I was afraid of my thoughts as well. And so if I did have quiet time, I'd put on a movie or put on my audiobook, or if I was doing the dishes, I put on my audiobook so I wouldn't have to be in my thoughts. And when I was cycling, I'd listen to music or an audiobook, or at the gym, constantly listening to something. Between tasks at work, I'd put something on, even if it was only for like 5-10 minutes. If I was walking to the shops, everything I did, there was always sound, and it maintained that level of amped because it meant that my brain was constantly working, but it also helped me push aside from some of the things that I was supposed to be working on in therapy, and things that, I don't know, just like getting used to sitting with yourself and being comfortable with yourself. And it's stuff like that that I've been very afraid of for a long time, and it's something that I feel like incorporates the whole, or like works well with the idea of balance, where I don't just want to be go, go, go the whole time. I want to have, like, I want to be productive and I want to work hard, but I also want to rest and understand what rest means. And so silence is something that I want to learn to sit in the silence, and I want to learn to do things without constantly needing sound in my ears, because I'm afraid of what my thoughts will be like if there isn't something there dominating my thoughts. And then budgeting, I'm going to go talk through a little bit later, but I do feel like it's felt like such chaos for the last 2 years. We haven't really been budgeting. We're quite good people, we don't really spend that much money, to be honest, unless we're traveling, but we don't buy a lot of stuff, we don't eat out a lot. Like, obviously I eat out with my department, but aside from that, we don't eat out. We might eat out if it's date night and stuff like that, but we don't spend a lot of money in the day-to-day, if that makes sense. So we're not bad at saving. It's more just this year I want to save with a plan. And so I've kind of divided up into expenses and how much of my paycheck is going to expenses, and then how much can go towards saving for, like I've set up a gifts bank account so that when we buy birthday gifts for people, I know I always struggle with like, oh my gosh, I don't have money to buy them a gift. It's in a bank account that I can draw from, and I don't have to feel guilty that it's coming from potential groceries or potential rent, if that makes sense. Like I've set it aside and it's there specifically for the purpose of birthday gifts and Christmas. And then I've also set up a travel fund, and that's what I was talking about, is having that yearly overview of what travel is coming up. There's a bank account specifically for travel, and so I can start putting towards it, knowing that like, oh, we need to buy flights that are this much. We actually have money in the bank account for travel, so that it's not coming out of potential rent and potential groceries. And I know for me that's going to make me feel a lot better and feel like I'm not constantly behind on stuff, or that I'm constantly having to pay back into the savings account because it's set aside and dedicated for travel. And then my actually main thing for this year is investing. We were a part of Sharesies in New Zealand ages ago, and we stopped doing it when we moved to Germany so that we could move over here with as much money as we needed, especially because I didn't have a scholarship. We had to show proof of money to get a visa. Now that I've got a scholarship, life is a lot easier, and I want to get back into investing. And I know all the investing videos out there say the best time to start investing was yesterday and the second best time is today. And so I've kind of tried to stop thinking about the fact that I haven't invested yet, or we haven't for the last 2 years, and actually just set it up and do it this year, and also set aside money for it. So there's two things that we're doing. One of it is investing in Luke's business and actually putting money into it, and that's one of the reasons he's able to do the course at the beginning of this year. It's a 3-month course, and we're almost turning it into like a business investment, in the hopes that realistically doing this course should, I think, double his income the way that it's set up. And so it's an investment in the business, but also investing in ETFs, I think that's what it's called. But we're going through a company that like Sharesies, kind of investing in different funds and long-term plans and stuff. I'm going to be honest, I don't understand investing that much, and that's why we're going through a company. So that's another thing that I'm planning for this year. But also I'm aware that my student loan is interest-free only while I'm working. Sorry, only while I'm studying. And so I also would like to decrease that as much as possible so that it's less interest by the time I finish my studies. I'm not expecting to pay it off by the time I finish my studies, my PhD at least, but it would be nice to have it as low as possible so that when I come out of the PhD and it suddenly becomes an interest, a loan with interest, that it's not too high. And then another goal that I have for this year is worship and hope. And those are kind of linked to this year of feeling like it was very chaotic and like I wasn't really coping. I want to spend some more time just like sitting in worship music and dedicating to worship, because I know that that really fills me up. But I also felt really hopeless for most of this year, and my mental health was really bad at times, and I think that led to me being quite cynical and very, like, I don't want to say difficult to be around, but I wasn't the happiest person to be around, and that's fine. Like, it was something that I was working through and I was going through it. But I kind of want to turn things around this year and have a bit more hope and joy, and not be flick-flacking between like extreme highs and being really happy traveling like on top of the world to extremely low and depressed and struggling to get out of bed. And even though obviously I can't prevent the low moments, I still want to have this, I want to try and aim towards having this underlying level of hope that this year is going to be a good year, and that things will get better, and that I can have a good week, and that it's like a momentary low rather than I'm going to feel like this forever. So yeah, that's kind of the main thing And then with this bullet journal digital planner thing, it gets you to write a letter to yourself. So I did that. I haven't done the vision board yet, but then I've got into planning January, and so I've kind of put in the main things that I want to do for the year, sorry, for the month. So in green I've got my uni stuff, red I've got stuff I want to do for YouTube, because I definitely want to stick that up this year, and blue is kind of everything else, whether it be social stuff or church stuff or travel or whatever. And then an overview. So I've got like my priority. This is the thing that I like most about these kind of planners, is that I'm not a very creative person, and I tried bullet journaling, but I'm really bad at like coming up with the spreads and stuff, and so it's really nice that this has the spreads themselves. And so it's got like a habit tracker, and so the things that I've put in for this month are having like gym workout, reading the Bible, stretching, reading a non-fiction book, because I don't have trouble reading fiction books. It's reading non-fiction books that I really want to do this year. I want to learn stuff this year, and whether that be investing or whether it be about immigration or politics or whatever, like I want to get better with that kind of stuff. And then my languages goal, and then it's got a section for like important dates and monthly to-do list, priorities, and then a goal for the month. I haven't filled in the action steps yet, but my goal for this month is to set up a good weekly routine that I can maintain to and stick to. Yeah, and then it's got a reflection section at the end, which is really cool. Budget I'm not going to do, obviously. And then it's just got like a daily thing, which I'm really excited to fill out. So it's got like a schedule, intentions, focus for the day, to-do list, plans for tomorrow, which I'm really thankful for, because I often feel like, oh, I can't do this today, but I want to write it down. And so the fact that it's there, it's got a habit tracker, end of the day reflection, what I want to achieve, meals and hydration, self-care, affirmations, what I'm grateful for. It's quite a cool setup. So obviously it goes through that for the whole month. Let's see what else. I'm going to be honest, I haven't really looked through everything. After the daily thing, it's also got weekly planner if you prefer to do it that way. So if you don't want to have like a full spread for each day, you can have it for the week. It's also got a weekly schedule if you'd prefer that. But I'm definitely a daily thing. I do a lot each day, and I like to have things very detailed out, so I'm definitely going to be using the daily schedule. Yeah, so that's most of it. Oh, I guess I can click the button to go back to the start. I haven't filled in anything else yet, but you can click stuff like dotted, for example, and it takes you to a whole note section. Grocery list, here, snack log, meal planner. It's quite cool. It's very easy to just click between stuff. And so yeah, that's kind of it for my daily planner. And then in terms of my budget, I'm doing it on Google Sheets so that it's accessible on all of my devices. And what I really want to do this year is actually log everything, so I can see how much I'm actually spending on groceries, rather than just being like, oh, I spent 100 euros on groceries this week, and actually be like, okay, I bought a few extra snacks this week, what did that come to, slash not feeling guilty about buying things like chocolate for dessert because it's come to a certain amount and I'm expecting it to come to that amount. But also putting in stuff like, if we get monetary gifts, what that can go towards, and my research costs that are included in my scholarship. And yeah, just like a whole bunch of stuff. I just want to know exactly what's coming in, what's going out, so I can see what we're actually dealing with, and hopefully that can contribute towards removing any silly costs. Because I don't know, if I see something for like €3, I'm normally like, oh, it's only €3, but I now know that I have to put that in the spreadsheet, which is fine. It's not like I can't spend €3 on something. But if I'm spending €3 on miscellaneous stuff every 2 days, for example, I'm writing it down, and so I'm noticing it more. And so it's mostly just to become more aware, if that makes sense. So I also got this budget on Etsy, so I can link it in the bottom if you're interested in it. But it's got instructions on how to set everything up, which is quite nice. You set it up for your thing, so you can fill in, customize your own categories. and I've put in like my paychecks. Side hustle, I'm hoping one day that I can monetize my YouTube and that might be there, but in the meantime I'm also doing some freelance proofreading, and so that's kind of going in there, and then any monetary gifts and stuff. But then we've also got expenses that I've laid out into like groceries, social events, transportation, household, clothing, etc. Bills, the usual. Savings, which you can see I've already talked about. Investments, travel funds, research costs, and presents. I actually had to change it from gifts because I had gifts for income, and then it was freaking out the program because it does it by words, and so if that was the same it couldn't work, so we've got presents. And then debt. The only debt that I have is a student loan, and so that's what I want to be working on a bit more this year. And then it's got a goal tracker as well, which I haven't spent as much time on, but I've put it in here anyway just because why not. Want to decrease my student loan, write sections of my thesis, investing, going to the gym, planning a teaching schedule for the following year, date night, languages, read non-fiction books. But it's very cool because you can like say what you're doing, like find a topic I'm interested, and then you can tick it and it will say now your progress is 50%. And then it's got all of these like calculation things up here for when you complete something, and it will say how many of your goals are done for the year. So that's quite a cool addition. I don't know how much I'm going to use it because I've got my digital planner, but it'll be nice to, I don't know, keep on track of it. You've got a transactions page. I've kind of just put it in to figure out what I'm predicting for January. So obviously I'm going to update this as things happen, but I've got like paychecks and subscriptions and all that stuff that needs to come out. And then what that turns into is an annual dashboard where it puts together, once you've filled out obviously transactions for a whole year, it will show you how much money you're putting into groceries, or how much money you're putting into bills, how many savings you've made this year, which is quite cool. And it's got like segments where it comes out with different things, but it's also got the pie charts, which I really like, and where you've just been allocating stuff. It's got a whole section which I really like, but then it's also got like a January breakdown. So obviously this is only partially done because I've only done a little bit, but it shows through what's expected, what's actual. You can fill in different sections, like how much you're expecting to spend on groceries, and then how much you actually spend, and how much you're expecting to spend on subscriptions, how much you actually spend. And then it comes here and tells you how much you've spent the most on. So because I haven't put in that much for the month yet, my top thing that I've spent money on is my health insurance, which is 220 euros. And that will obviously change as we spend money on stuff and log it. But yeah, and then it just goes through that for the rest of the year. And I'm hoping that if this goes well, that I can just continue to use it, because it's not set to a certain year. You kind of set it up for what you're using it for. And so this is what I've set it up for 2024. But it does mean that I can hopefully reuse this. I feel like what I want to do for this year is run off the mantra, I guess, that knowledge is power. And I think that's how I'm going to be able to, quote unquote, maintain control in my life and not lead to such a chaotic flick-flack year. Is that if I can have balance in my work week, I can have a restful weekend. And if I can track what I'm spending money on and put away savings, I cannot feel like I'm out of control and constantly not having money to be able to do stuff. And yeah, I think it's more just, the more I'm aware of stuff, the less I should be panicking about stuff. Or maybe I'll find that we're just screwed and then I can panic, but at least I'll know it. But no, I don't think that will be the case. We actually have more money than I thought we did, which is really cool. And that's the whole thing, is that like you don't know unless you're aware of it and you make yourself aware of it. So yeah, that's kind of my plan for this year. My plan for at least January is to figure out a good routine that hopefully I can maintain for the rest of the year, and actually spend some good work time so that I can spend some good resting time. And yeah, so thank you so much for coming along on this really strange, reflective, first video of 2024, and if you're new here, hi. I hope that you'll join along with my random journey throughout 2024 to try and find more balance and control, and maybe that will inspire you to find more balance and control in your life if you're feeling chaotic. But if you're not new here, thanks for coming back, and I hope that you enjoyed this slightly more reflective video. It's been a lot of travel videos recently, obviously because of December and Vlogmas and everything, but I'm really excited to get more into like a routine and not have such a, I don't know, chaotic week every single week. I'm really looking for stability from someone who thrives in stability. So yeah, thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video and that you've had a nice December and you're looking forward to the new year, and I will see you with another video very soon.
We got time on our side. We're in a state of hope.